WVOL, Berry Hill, Nashville. The views and opinions of the following show are those of the host and the host only, and not those of Heidelberg Broadcasting, its ownership, or management.
Good evening, beautiful people. Welcome to RFD Talk. It's so good to have you here this Monday evening. Happy Monday, everyone. I am your host, Robin F. David. I am super excited tonight because we have an amazing guest, and she's in the green room, and we'll be bringing her on in just a moment. So hold tight for our honored guest today. And our topic tonight is going to fill your soul and fill your week with great information to help you be that individual that you are praying and desiring to be. Again, happy Monday, beautiful people. I am Robin F. David. I am a healing consultant, best-selling author, self-published author, and I'm the president of the Golden Foundation. And my mission is to brighten, believe, and direct wholeness to women by teaching them to live in their truth. So what we do on RFD Talk is what we do here is we bring simple understanding to complicated situations, taking away the hard work of self-love. And I just want to shout out my sponsors. And if you're here, please share and like if there's anyone that you may need to add to the show tonight, because we're going to be definitely wanting to have some questions, and we have some things we would love for, any comments that you have for our guest tonight, Debrena Jackson Gandy. I am super excited, guys. This is such a delightful Monday here on the show. So I'm hoping your weekend went well. And if you're in the car, hope you're driving safely on your way home and you're getting prepared for a great Monday night evening. So we want to shout out first before we get into this juicy conversation and get this wealth of self-care and information. I definitely want to shout out our amazing sponsors, and we greatly appreciate Shave Me Down Body Butter. Shave Me Down, you can find Shave Me Down on Facebook at Shave Me Down Body Butter, which is one of my favorite body butters. If you're just a listener, you can just tell how it just feels so soft in my skin right now because I use it daily on my skin. So if you're a viewer, you can see how my skin is glowing. So you definitely want to try some of this body butter. And you can also email Shave Me Down at shamemedown.06@gmail.com. And we thank Shame Me Down for being an amazing sponsor. Then we also want to shout out our other consistent sponsor, which we are so honored to have them as sponsors, Majestic Elegance Candles and Company, which is a soy-based candle, and it is toxin-free. And we definitely are so glad to have those. Soy candles are the best thing to start your day, mid of your day, or at the end of your day. I'm always taking a great moment with my candle. The fragrance invigorates me, and the fragrance also relaxes me. So you want to check out Majestic's website at livemajestic.com. So we want to thank them. And then we also want to invite you, if you haven't already, please join my Facebook page at Robin F. David Talk, at RFD Talk. And if you haven't joined the YouTube page, please subscribe on the YouTube page. We appreciate all my viewers there. Thank you, YouTube viewers, and thank you, Facebook viewers. So tonight, we want to go right into what did the Lord say to RFD? What did the Lord say to RFD before the show? And this is really I'm super excited about the guest that I have tonight because I have been evolving and becoming, and some of the things I have learned from this mentor that we'll be having today, Mr. Debrena, that I'm going to be zooming in. But when I think about what the Lord said to me today, I was like, Lord, it's been a true journey, growing, evolving, and becoming. And one thing came to me was everything I got a quote that says, everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And that was a quote that I chose for tonight's show, because I believe that everything you ever wanted, and that was quoted by George Adair, which was the poet who, or the author who wrote that quote for us tonight. So remember, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So, with no further ado, we're going to be bringing out the green room because our topic tonight is such a juicy topic. It's fortify your life from the inside out. Are you ready this Monday? And take a deep breath with RFD, because we know how we here on the show. I get real excited, and sometimes when I get excited, you listeners know how I do. I just be like, woo. So let's take a deep breath, quick deep breath. So take a deep breath with me, and inhale and exhale. Let's take one more deep breath before we get this amazing guest all the way from Seattle, Washington. I'm so honored to have her. Let's take another deep breath. And then let's exhale. So welcome to Nashville. We're going to invite Debrena to Nashville. Debrena Jackson Gandy is going to teach us tonight. So get your papers, get ready to call in. If you like to call in, you can call in at 615-227-1470. Well, we're going to invite Debrena Jackson Gandy. Yay!
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm
Welcome
using my
Debrena.
mic tonight, so I just want to be sure. Hello.
Hello, beautiful. You look amazing as always.
Thank you. So good to see you and be here, girl. Oh, I'm so excited.
Thank you. I am more excited than you can ever imagine. I woke up this morning like, it's the day. Really, Debrena's coming to God, you are definitely answering prayers. This is such an honor to have you, Debrena. Would you tell our guests about who you are and a little bit about your greatness, and tell us who you are so the listeners and the viewers can know all the juicy information about you. Besides you being a great mentor to me, I just want the listeners to know she's a great mentor to me for many years now. I'll say we're probably like 20 years of you have educated and taught me, and you have been a great friend, and in time of need, you have been a role model. You've been an inspiration to me as well. So we are just honored to have you, Debrena. So tell me a little bit, tell our listeners who you are. I know who you are. I think you are awesome and great and extraordinary, but I know the listeners need to know who you are. So go right ahead and tell us who you are.
All right. Well, the primary thing I will mention is that I am a woman who is here to live life to the fullest and to get every possible yummy drop out of it that I can while I am walking this planet. And while I am doing that, living what I call a juicy life, I want to bring as many other ready women and men that are up for transformation, want to bring them along as well. And how I make the contribution around transformation and this juicy woman lifestyle and juicy living that's available to us is, through my books. I'm fortunate to have 3 nationally published books. 2 of them are national bestsellers. I also do it through the programs and elite retreats and the courses and the keynote speaking and the private coaching that I do. So I am a woman who's living her dream board. I heard someone the other day, I said, how are you doing? They said, living the dream. And I thought, I'm going to add a word to that, living my dream board. Yeah. So I pulled them off the wall. I had like 3 of them. I pulled them off the wall last week to ceremoniously represent. I don't need a placeholder because I'm living the dream board. So that in a nutshell, RFD is what I am about. And, I do all that through my business of 25 years. Masterminds Unlimited, that has been a huge blessing. And I also do business training with particularly Black entrepreneurs that want to grow their businesses. So thank you again for having me.
Yes, you do a lot of yummy things to help women find their true self. You said pulling things off and you're living the things on your dream board. I love that. I love how you make words feel so alive. Like take it off the board, not just have it on the board, right? Just take it off and start actually embracing it, feeling it, touching it, and being it, right?
Being
So
it. Yep.
so let can you tell our listeners how we can start pulling things off the board and be more fortified in our life and living it from inside out? Can you tell us some of the ways that you would suggest that we can get started in that journey? Tell us more about the fortifying our lives from inside out.
Beautiful. Well, there is absolutely a process. And when you have a process, that means there's an order and a sequence. It is not chaotic. It is not random. It's not just whatever you think. No, life has a process to it in terms of being able to experience the fullness of it in your spirit, in your soul, in your body, in your mind, in your relationships, in your finances, etc. And the American culture gives us a very twisted way of getting to what we call success that on this side of the pandemic clearly has imploded, and people got to see how it was shallow and hollow. And that's why I think so many people are having different forms of breakdowns. But there really is a process, and so many of us don't know what it is, and we've been haphazardly living, and that does not produce deep fulfillment and deep ongoing satisfaction. So the first thing I would want to share with your listeners, Robin, is that we have to understand what I call our divine design, which is beyond opinion, which is beyond the era, the ethnicity, the country you're born into, the family you were born into. It transcends all of that, and it applies to all human beings. So if you don't understand your divine design, that you did not design yourself, you did not create yourself, and that there is a master designer at play in your existence, that is huge right there, because that divine design dictates what it requires to experience fulfilled, abundant living in the earth. And the creator of each of us has given us all kinds of cues, blueprints, maps, sages, mentors, wise ones, etc., so that we're not guessing. And so with that divine design, the first piece of it I'll mention in this first part of the question, and then I know you'll be asking more, is that the designer, I recognize the designer as God. There are many names for the designer. I call that designer God or the Most High. That designer has set up the design of each of us so that we desire to be in connection and stay in connection. Period. Now, you can think that's not the case. You can make up a story. You can resist it. It doesn't change the truth. So my experience of a juicy life and being able to actually live my vision boards and no longer need to have vision boards is because I understand that truth of my design. And so I have built into my life, and it's now, 20 plus years of this being an integral part of my life. I build sacred time, meaning set aside, honored, and reverenced to connect without distraction with my creator, my designer, my source. It makes a transformational difference in your life when that happens. Not just because, it might give you peace and solace, but because on top of it all, the designer said, I am going to set it up so you can dialogue with me. What? You can personally dialogue with me, put asks forward that I will honor if you understand how to ask correctly and not amiss. And if you understand what my son was teaching you in the Gospels, then you will begin to understand how to operate as what I call a kingdom woman. So that would be the first thing I would say, Robin, and I have more I can add to that as we go on, is understand your divine design, and your resistance to it or thinking something otherwise does not change the truth of how you're made. And that design is so that your fulfillment, your optimal fulfillment, comes from staying connected to, being in communion with, and in dialogue with that divine designer and that divine source. That would be the square one. That would be square one.
Wow. Now, how did you get to that place where you knew that you have this design relationship? What happened? What inspired you to get to that place where you knew that this is divine and you having a dialogue or a relationship? What was that happened, or how do people get to that place? Maybe should be the question. I'm not sure.
Well, the first part of that is one of the books that I orient my life around is a book of truth that is called Holy Bible. And I have an acronym for Bible: Blessed Instructions for Being and Living Excellently. And so in that Blessed Instructions for Being and Living Excellently, that book of truth lets us know that there is an aspect of God that has been built into each of us that was left as a gift by the Christ. And so one, it's in the book.
Okay.
and two, I knew that sources of certain thoughts and ideas and unctions and insights were not arising just from my three-dimensional, mind, body, spirit, Debrena. There was something beyond me that was informing me and available to me. And as you talk to other people that are living a fulfilled life, joy connected, God guided, this is something they've discovered as well, that they are God guided. And so I started asking, even as a little girl, I remember age 10, I really started to get very, very curious, extra curious about life. My parents were leaders in the community, leaders in business, leaders in politics in the town where I grew up. So I was always around really progressive thought leading people of different ethnicities. And I had a little journal that I would keep with me, with my little pen. And my parents would give me permission, like during the reception part of a gala or whatever, to go up to a few people, ask them some questions, and take notes in my journal, as long as it wasn't, rude or interfering with the conversation they were having. And every single person that was successful and joyous, successful and fulfilled, successful and deeply satisfied, they had some version of connecting to that divine designer, that source, regardless of what religion, regardless of whether it was Eastern or Western, regardless of where they grew up. There was something in their lives that they had built in to honor that designer and to connect with that designer and have that designer an integral part of how they move through their daily lives, decide, choose, etc. So there was evidence. Let me know as I noticed people who had their light on, there was evidence that there was something they're doing. They may not be broadcasting it, but then when you ask the question, you find out, there's this common denominator around all these deeply fulfilled people. And many of them also have prosperity. So it's not that you're fulfilled and poor. No. So that became part of my curiosity in life. It's like, well, I want to be one of the ones that's deeply fulfilled and prosperous. So what does that require? So
yes,
inquiry has created a whole body of work.
That is definitely what the first step to understand, right? That you was created with divine purpose, and you had support, and you've seen it in the lives of your parents and the people that were living that life was the indicator to you that divinely you knew that life was supposed to be on purpose and fulfilled and joyful. and not just dreadful. Yeah. So, what other things would you say to our listeners about living a fulfilled life? How does that unfold once you identify that you are divinely connected and you can have this fulfilled life? What other things would you tell them that they need to possibly start paying attention to the signs of?
Well, it's the great news is we don't have to identify that we're divinely designed. We get to recognize it, right?
Oh,
Truth is about recognition. Um, and so once you recognize that, and that becomes part of your belief system, like I am divinely designed, that's a fact. That's even better than a fact. It's truth. Okay. Does that change how I've been living, how I've been seeing myself, how I've been treating my body, how I've been perceiving each new day of life I wake up into? It changes everything. Just that one new belief. But there's a whole bunch of stuff we have to clean out that's displaced that. We're not, many of us, believing that I am wonderfully made. We're feeling flawed. We're feeling imperfect. We are very critical of our bodies. We're highly negatively judgmental. So even though we may say I am wonderfully made, I am honorably and fearfully made, that's what the word means in that context. Then when you go inside our thoughts, it's not consistent with what our mouth just said. So just to recognize, okay, if I understand and I recognize that I am divinely designed by a loving creator, then how does that change how I see myself in life and other people? What needs to change now that I recognize and own this? Then healing is always part of the process, because and people have been running from that for decades. And now on this side of the pandemic, the exposure of and the byproducts of and the toll of not doing our due healing work is slapping us upside the head like 52 by 4s, collectively and individually. So healing is where you restore yourself, whatever lies, whatever low level emotions that you've started to hold in your body that others trigger, and then you call "you made me mad." No, they're triggering something already in you. And when you also replace false beliefs, that's what healing accomplishes. It returns you to and restores you to a state of freedom. And it's a personal liberation journey. So you can't recognize that you are divinely designed and there's a divine designer and not have to reevaluate some of your beliefs and heal them because they're twisted, warped, inaccurate, or delusional. So that's another piece of it. And forgiveness is a subset of healing work. And it amazes me how many folks, especially those that identify as Christian, how we have not done any comprehensive forgiveness work. And certainly not more than once, as if it's a checkbox. And then thirdly is we also, because of our divine design, there is a part in the manifestation process that is ours to fulfill on. And that is getting clear on what. And too often we start to preoccupy ourselves with the how of things. That's that left brain, that Western American, European brain, value system, not brain, but value system that wants to always control everything. How? What's the plan? And that's really not the lane we're to be in when we understand our divine design. The lane that we should be in and settled into and comfortable in is the clarity lane. What do you want to experience? What do you desire? What does it look like? What would you be experiencing? And we spend too much time, the plan, I'm not quite sure how it, your energy and your attention is in the wrong place. So, right? So when you understand your divine design, your approach to manifesting how you've been making stuff happen in your life and how you've been having stuff show up and occur changes from efforting and mental and 8 zillion million goal sheets and too much time on strategy and not enough time on clarity of the what. And so that's a shift for a lot of us is, well, hold up. Am I clear on the what? Oh, I haven't really spent enough time on that part. Well, I don't know. Well, who should I ask? It's your life. So I spent a tremendous amount of time, have spent a tremendous amount of time focused on the what. Once I started to see, there's a certain way life works if you want some fulfillment and prosperity together. Oh, the what is your primary assignment. So I started focusing on the what, and guess what? The reason I could rip up my vision boards is because the manifestation of the what has occurred, not because I knew every part of the how. I was over the lane that was my business to attend to, which is the what. So those are a few things, Robin, that are part of this inside out living. And none of this is even yet external. I'm not even talking about do this, don't do that, action, strategy, plans, right? Goals. I haven't even got to any of that. That's secondary. I'm still over here with the inner reality of how to live a fulfilled life. So, and a fortified life.
Wow, I love that. What you said is recognizing it. So once you recognize it, you can start tuning into what. And it's important because I think that's what happens with some of us, as you said, as Christians. We haven't did that deep work of forgiveness. You have mentioned that. And I do find that us as Christians, I feel like we penalize ourselves more than we realize. And I feel like that sometimes keep us from manifesting that. I love what you're saying, that prosperous, fulfilled life, right? So it's not just prospering, but it's fulfilled on every area. It's manifesting in the image of how God will have it, you know. And I love the part that you said not to worry about the how, right? It's just kind of resonates with me because I know sometimes as our human mind, the ego goes, we go like, well, how is that supposed to happen? Instead of just really just feeling like, what does that feel like to be and to have that already in your life? And I just had that conversation with a young lady who she was talking to me about relationship, and we were saying that I was telling her, you know, when you go after chasing it and you want it, but you got to know, why do you want the relationship? What does that feel like? You know, not more of how do I get it and how it's going to happen, but just what does it feel like to have a good relationship? That's what I was telling her. And I told her, I said, it begins to be a practice with yourself, being fully, completely happy with self enough to know that nothing's missing, nothing's broken, because you are divinely connected and you're always in relationship. But if you want a certain selected type of relationship, those too can manifest, but you have to work on that, manifesting that with yourself. So I love those things that you said. They resonate a lot with me. The practice of looking within and understanding the what more. How do people
first? So it's not that the how doesn't matter, but we start to obsess over that out of order. And the how is step one. I'm sorry, the what is step one. So just want to make that clear. It's not that, forget the how altogether, but we put way too much energy on that and out of order. And the energy really should be on clarity of the what first and foremost.
That's great. Great. We're going to take a commercial here in just a moment. We're going to do a short commercial and then we'll have you back. Thank you.
Awesome. Am I still on screen or no?
Yes.
Camera. Okay. I won't take a sip of my tea then.
Yeah, you can have a sip of tea. The commercial will be about 2 minutes. If you like to take a sip of tea, you can. I need to take a sip.
Apply a discrete sensor on your body, and it continuously monitors your glucose levels, helping you spend more time in range and freeing you from painful finger sticks. If you are living with type 1 or type 2 diabetes and you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, you might be eligible for a CGM through your insurance benefits. U.S. Med partners with over 500 private insurance companies and Medicare. We offer free shipping, 90-day supplies, and we bill your insurance. Call us today for a free benefits check.
800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. 800-584-2519. That's 800-584-2519. Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with Smart Fares. See, Smart Fares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use Smart Fares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner, or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our Smart Fares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call Smart Fares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
901-424-5274. 901-424-5274. That's 901-424-5274.
We're back. Welcome back to RFD Talk. I am here with the lovely Debrena Jackson Gandy. The national best-selling published author, master coach of life. She is teaching us today and sharing with us some wisdom today on fortifying your life from the inside out. Welcome back to our show, Debrena. So, tell me more. You said that in this time that we're living in, because we have been through a different time in the last 2 years, and a lot has showed up in our lives. Being that we went through this whole pandemic, and we were shut in, now we're out, and people are coping well, and some are not. So, what do you see the most that we, our listeners, really need to really start focusing on to fortify, to get to that place where you are living a life, living the life? I like that statement. So when people say I'm living the life, and you're living the life off your dream board, as you just mentioned to us, and it's so juicy. How do we navigate in the time that we've been through? And as a master life coach, one of the things which you say that our listeners can start maybe doing or becoming or focusing on?
Well, it's two things. Some of us need to stop. It isn't about, right? Often we think we got to start or do. No, we've been doing too much and some of the wrong things. So some of us need to subtract. Some of us need to add as some of our first steps. So one of the things that I recommend we all add, and it's related to how we're made, right? That divine design, that's a truth. And you can't change it if you want to. So since we have a divine design, we have a divine designer that we did not make ourselves, that there's a way we are made, that part of the architecture of human being is with a desire and a yearning to stay connected and to be connected to our designer, our master designer, the Most High. So then the question becomes, okay, that's fundamental. So if I look into your life, is there sacred, set aside, uninterrupted, not being competed with time, valued and thus existing in your life each day to have divine dialogue and intentional divine connection time with God? It's not about religion. It's about how we are made. And if you look into most of our lives, we wake up and move into action. We move into doing. And especially if we live with other people, especially little people, we move into doing for them. So a lot of us need to restructure how we begin our day. That instead of it being about going and brush your teeth and pull your clothes out you're going to wear, whatever our process has been, we need to insert something else into our day that makes a huge difference in you and how the day responds to you. And that is daily prayer and meditation as a practice. As a practice means it's built into how you roll. Brushing your teeth each morning is a hygiene practice. I'm talking about a spiritual practice that is sacred, meaning it needs to be honored. It needs to be elevated above. It deserves reverence. Time with the Most High. And that is not a part of our lives. Or if it is, we're tapping the Timex. Okay, 10 minutes, I'm good to go. Or we're multitasking. Or our minds, our locomotive runaway train minds are thinking about 7 different things. We don't even have control of our minds. So there's some discipline even to get to the point where we can be in dialogue. Because daily prayer and meditation is about prayer, speaking to God, and then shifting into what I call Christ-centered meditation, not just relax your body, still the mind, as is the Eastern definition, but the Christ-centered definition of meditation, where you are now receiving from and attuning your inner spiritual ear to the Most High. So now we have dialogue. So prayer is monologue. You're only sending. Well, where's the receive function? That's not communication, that's monologue. So most of us are having a monologue, not communication with God. So, and if we understood what becomes available to us, if that were happening, we would never not go a day without it. But because we've been taught pray, but not listen, receive, and act, we have a lot of praying folk and not enough praying and meditating folk, and not enough pray, meditate, and heed. Heed is not the same as hear. So that is one thing that no matter where you are in the process, to begin incorporating into your day, space for divine dialogue. And it might be where the first 3 weeks, you're just trying to calm your locomotive runaway train mind down, because it's so attached to external shiny objects and noise. That's okay. Then it might take a while for you to settle your body down, because we have nervous energy. We're always moving and doing. So just to settle down is like, it might take you 3 weeks just to calm your nervous system down so you can just be still. So it's a process, it's a journey, but what we're aspiring to is being in the optimum space and state to have powerful communication with the divine designer. And then we get to learn how to power up our prayers. I'm also really amazed at how many of us are not putting asks forward during the prayer component or element of sacred prayer meditation, divine dialogue. And I'll say, well, what was your ask? What did you ask? Well, I told God a tell is not the same as an ask. Well, I said, God, I ask that I said, that's not an ask. If my teenager, when I had them, comes to me and says, I ask that I use your car tonight, I'd be like, what? That's not an ask, right? So we pray using that format because we heard others from the pulpit or Bible study use that format. That's not an ask. And even in God's grace, God's like, okay, I know what my child is trying to put forth, but how about we learn how to put bold asks forward in our prayer time? Because if no asks are present, then what is the response to? If I'm in I have a situation at work with a coworker, I don't quite understand why they're upset with me, what's going on. So if I put forth in my prayer time, God, would you illuminate what's in my blind spot about this situation? That's an ask. What is it I'm missing? What is it I need to learn? What is it I need to recognize so that this relationship can shift? I just put forth an ask. So now when I shift into closing my mouth and opening my ears, my spiritual ears, we got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Notice we should be listening twice as much as we speak during divine prayer time as well. I now have an ask I've put forward. I have something for a response to be generated from. And now I can write down the answer and act on it. In any area of my life, whether it's business, whether it's love relations, or whether it's working with my children, whatever. What? We have that kind of resource, but we're not availing ourselves fully at all. So that would be a starting place for people, is to work daily, inch by inch, step by step, toward incorporating a sacred prayer and meditation, divine dialogue time into the top of your day. Why do I say top? Because you want to set the keynote, the primary vibration that the rest of your day gets to respond to. And that's a time to set the keynote here versus here, because life will, if you set it here, life will match it. You set it here, life will match it. Why not set it here? But that has to be an intentional process. So that's also setting up a key vibrational note for your day to start it off with prayer and meditation and getting yourself centered and clear and oriented and aligned with the divine. So that for a lot of us, just those few things, I can say these are foundational, but for many of us, they're not present at all. So we got some muscles we got to work to put this into place. And we need to have patience. We're in the Western American insto, give it to me now, microwave it culture. That went away with the pandemic. We got the fruit of all the insto living and all the breakdown and collapse and divorces. Now we need to learn how to have some staying power and send some roots deep and send some roots and send some connection high.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff right there, listeners. I hope you all took note of that, because I feel that, Debrena, we do need to practice that, because I too remember some time in my life where I wasn't practicing that basic principle right there. It can shift your whole life in the way you show up in life with yourself and the things that manifest in your life. And I definitely was, because I am a chatter. And so I definitely used to talk too much to God. And he was like, girl, if you don't be quiet so I can tell you what you need to do. So I just want to tell my listeners.
There's no more monologue. Can I get a word in edgewise, right?
Yes, for the ones who are just meeting me, God knew, like, he's like, girl, if you don't learn to be quiet. So he sent Debrena to mentor me and teach me certain things. So definitely that was one of the things I took away with you as well, working with you, Debrena. And just literally getting to that place is challenging. It takes a few weeks before you really find yourself embracing starting your day off like that, because like I said, I knew God was like, you chat to me too much. There's so much I've been trying to tell you, but you got to learn to be quiet. So sometimes I think that we do get taught that in our traditional religion. And we, as a Christian myself, that was like, I'm going to prayer all the time. I'm like, God is still like hell here on earth, but I'm at prayer, right? And I'm like, God, help me. What am not getting? And I am definitely hearing that a lot of times in life, we don't know. The inhale has a purpose, the exhale has a purpose, the give has a purpose, the receive. So it has to be a balance of that thing. So once I got to that place, I was definitely feeling a lot better. So listeners definitely want to place that, try putting that in your everyday course of your life, for part of your healing and fortifying your life from inside out. So thank you for that, Debrena, because that is definitely true. Yeah. What are some of the we have a short time, about 15 more minutes with Debrena. Do anyone have any calls or questions that may want to call in? If you want to call in, you call in the radio station. If you're on Facebook, if you'd like to leave a question for Debrena, if you'd like to if you're on the replay and you're watching this at another time, if you want to contact Debrena, if you want to ask more questions about the prayer and how to get started, or how to have this wonderful relationship with your divine creator, definitely you want to reach out to her. But Debrena, also tell us some more bits about what you say would be another step before we get to the closing of the show. What other step would you suggest that maybe besides be the one that you already have to suggest, which is the key?
Well, I mentioned earlier, some of us actually need to subtract, right? Not do something new. So, and then some of us might need to add some different things that should be present in our lives that we have known but haven't attended to. So whenever we decide that we're going to move to a new level, and sometimes a breakdown is what gets us to that point. It isn't just an illumination. Sometimes it's a breakdown. We're in a low point. We're in a dark night of the soul. We're in a space of confusion, not knowing. And we say, wait, something has got to change, to do a evaluation first. The lay of the land of your life right now. What's in it? How are you moving? What kind of relationships do you have? Are they reciprocal? Are you doing too much? Do you feel they're imbalanced where your energy is always going out, 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 and not enough energy is returning? Have you trained people to tolerate that imbalance of energy? Have you trained people for you to be the savior, the fixer, the problem solver every time, the superhero? Are you feeling depleted? Are you feeling energized at the end of your day? How's your body doing? Is your body in health, radiant health, or is there aches and pains and expressions of dis-ease in different forms? Excuse me. How are things going with the flow of finances? Is it scarcity and struggle, or is it plenitude and abundance and unexpected blessings? And, what's the experience? So just to stop a second and not try to do anything, just first do an evaluation. What's going on in my life? What is working? What isn't? And sometimes we have a subtraction. The subtraction might even be something like there's things you've been putting in your mouth that you need to subtract. There might be certain people you've been hanging out with and their vibe is here. You're trying to get up here. So you need to subtract some of the minutes that you're spending on the phone or in their company. I didn't say subtract them out of your life. I'm not about the cancel culture, but subtract the amount of time and then redirect it to some more high vibe relationships. There might be sleep you need to add. There might be hydration you need to add. Subtract the coffee, subtract the Red Bull, subtract the soda pop because it supports the life force of the body. So just to do a scan of our lives and say, where do I need to subtract and what do I need to subtract? What do I need to add? And just start. That's not even a plan. That's just noticing, truthfully evaluating. And we don't have to consult anybody. We don't need a therapist. We don't need a counselor. We don't need a life coach. We just need to sit ourselves down and do a scan. What's working, what's not, what needs to stay, what needs to go, what things do I have control over where I can start to make shifts right now because I said so. And how can I begin to live in more accordance step by step with my divine design and start to build daily sacred prayer and meditation into my lifestyle and the fabric of each day of my life. Those things alone are epic. 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 The healing, transformational. So we're really talking about transformation, which is new creature, not just make some forward steps of progress. We're talking about butterfly, not just the same caterpillar. So if we actually act on what I have talked about, not just hear it in our ears and put it in a mental compartment, but bring it on down into our bodies and into our belief system and into our heart and into our taking action, you cannot not be changed for the better.
That is so juicy right there, Debrena. Fortifying your life. It's not as hard as we make it for ourselves. That's what I keep hearing. Like sometimes I think as us as people and women especially, because we feel like we're supposed to have on all these hats and doing all this and showing up all broken and unhappy and unfulfilled. But we make up really good and we dress up really fine. But then we open our mouths and then we look at our lives sometimes closer, our own lives, we realize that we're not literally living what you said, again, our divine blueprint connected and having that wonderful dialogue with our divine creator. So that is some juicy stuff, Debrena. I'm super loving that. And so from there, I'm like, yes, yes. So I definitely want the listeners to leave here today and start focusing on how to have a fortified life. Because the reason I love the word fortified, because I know working with you, starting with you like 20 years ago, I started with you. It's inspiring me and planting seeds of greatness in me and supporting me as you have. One of the words I always remember was fortified, because I was like, I definitely want to be this fortified woman. And that was something that you taught me long time ago. And it took me a while to get all the steps, but that first step that you shared to everybody definitely was the home run. Once I was able to start practicing that, that right there is starting the transformation of healing. So if anyone on the listeners need to start their healing journey, this is definitely a way to start your healing journey. Yeah. Thank you for that, Debrena. So tell us what's upcoming on the horizon with you. Tell our listeners what else great things are going on with Debrena Jackson Gandy.
Oh my goodness, all kinds of amazing things. I do a lot of cohort programs. So over several weeks or several months, and with the same configuration of people, so that I can do some active work and there can be accountability and some personal coaching and some group and community dialogue, conversations, assignments, and exercises. So I don't do a lot of just stuff that's just open to everybody. And right now I'm in the middle of 2 major courses, Juicy Woman University, my kind of gateway level 1 introduction entry point to Debrena's world. And then my advanced course called Bountiful. And then my advanced course for those who've done my love relationships work called Preparation for Partnership, women who want to be a wife in 1 to 3 years. It is an art and a science, and preparation is required. And then I also have my first ever transformational coaching certification that I'm launching, and have a full class of students. So those are going on right now, or will be launching in the next 60 days, already filled, already closed, already, doing the Queen Esther Purification Experience, my 6-week Elevate Your Relationship to Your Body and Your Sacred Self-Care course that's going on right now as we speak. And let's see, some of the new stuff will be coming in 2023, where people can actually, enroll and sign up. But in the meantime, I would love to invite your listeners to the Sacred Society with Debrena on Facebook, private, free membership community with over 1,700 people. And that's a place to continue to be exposed to some of these yummy things that we've been talking about today, and to more of this juicy lifestyle, the sacred self-caring consciousness, and some of the other things that are very distinct to this altitude of living, because it is an altitude. It's a different realm. And so that's a place to come on and be a part of, if you like what you heard and you want more. And then also, if you go to $1 Million Mentor, which you're showing on the screen now, my website, there's an opportunity to get a free gift called the Sacred Self-Caring Woman's Toolkit. So I don't have just 1 yummy free gift as part of the toolkit, not just 2 yummy free gifts, but 3. So I definitely recommend everybody go to $1millionmentor.net and get her own Sacred Self-Caring Woman's Toolkit. You can get it by at the bottom of the page, or once you're on the page for more than 10 seconds, boom, here comes the pop-up, and you can make your request there as well. So those are 2 ways to get connected with me, Robin, and to stay tuned to other yummy stuff that I'm doing once I open, new courses up, or I have a membership coming in 2023, which will be brand new. But once you get one of those 2 things, Sacred Society plugged in or $1 Million Mentor, then I'll keep you folks posted.
Oh, wonderful, Debrena. I am so elated today. I will to come to the RFD Talk Show. And I am so happy to have you. Yes, and we would love to. I know you're fruitful and you're living the dream, and you're not living the dream board, but you're living the things on your dream board. Hey, I love that, girl. I will be adopting that as well. Living the things on my dream board. So I learned a lot of great things from you in this time, and we are winding down the show, but definitely, everyone, please get in contact with Debrena at those great juicy places at her private Facebook group. There, she mentioned to find her on Facebook. And again, tell us the name of your group again on Facebook.
The Sacred Society with Debrena.
Yeah, so definitely join there. That's free. You don't have to be charged for that. So listeners, chime in and get all this great juicy information and become a woman, a juicy woman like Debrena. She has so many wonderful things, and I look forward to 2023 and years to come with you, Debrena. I definitely have seen about 20 years of your life be so juicy. I know it's been about 20 or maybe 20 plus years that I've watched God evolve and grow you, and I definitely will be a part of one of those programs, because I'm like, wow, I got to catch on to one of these programs, because working with you always changes your life. So if you decide to work with Debrena, you definitely will have a life-changing experience. I hope that some can see that my life has been changed, and I've been knowing you for 20 years, and a lot of my transformation has come from your great teachings, your books. She has amazing books, everyone. Have to check out some books.
I happen to have them, just so you can see.
Yeah, please show them, Debrena, because I'll tell you, I was like, I meant to show all your books off, because I meant to bring my copies. I was like, oh my goodness, I did not bring Debrena's books. Yes, thank you, Debrena. Those beautiful covers, and the information is, if you enjoy the information today, you're definitely going to enjoy all the information in her books. Are so warm.
My website, Amazon portals to Amazon through my website. So yeah, they can get all 3 books.
Yes, so there's where we are. So we got those wonderful things upcoming. We would love to have you come back in our near future. I know the listeners will definitely love this. If you are a replay person and you definitely are just catching on with us this app, whenever you watch this, please leave your comments. Please let us know what you would like to hear more from. And when we bring Debrena back, we'll be bringing her back. Hopefully, I've got my hands in my prayer to ask that she'll someday come back soon and give us some more juicy information and share some of the ways that we can have a more fortified life, living it from inside out. And we're at the end of our show, guys. It went so fast. I just want to say we had a ball. I had a ball.
Anytime you want me to come back, the answer is yes. Absolutely.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for you. Thank you. We love it. So, guys, everyone who tuned in today, I am so happy that you had the chance to tune in today, or whenever you're tuning in. And I hope that you took something away today that will help you start on your journey of healing, living a more fulfilled life with purpose, joy, and completeness, because that is your design. That's God's divine will for your life, and you should have a more fortified life. And definitely you want to be answering that question. I'm living the dream, right? Living the dream right here in Nashville, Tennessee at WVOL, the mighty 147 at the RFD Talk Show. Thank you guys, your support. And let me tell you, this Monday is a new day at the station, because I'm telling you, when we get guests like Debrena, I just feel so grateful. So thank you guys for coming, and we're going to end on that. I'm Robin F. David, inspiring you to love, embrace, and nurture yourself as you do unto others. Till next Monday, have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you.
WVOL.